This is section 6.5, which is solving equations with trinomial squares. It's not going to be much different than what we did in the previous section. It'll actually be very similar as soon as we go through one step. And that first step involves this right here. This is a quadratic trinomial, but we know that we can factor this and rewrite it in a different way. And that way is this: x minus 7 squared. And that equals 196. Once we see this, we know that this is exactly like what we saw in the previous section. We know that we can square root both sides, get x minus 7 equals plus or minus 14, get x equals 7 plus or minus 14, and then get x equals negative 7 and 21. That's just about all we have to do. There's not much different that can happen here. There'll be a couple more examples that you can look through. You know that x squared plus 6x plus 9 is x plus 3 squared. And that equals 113. We square root both sides. We get x plus 3 equals plus or minus the square root of 113. X is negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 113. So x is negative 13.630 and 7.630. And again, there's not much different that can happen. You'll see we have a problem like this. I guess this is as difficult as it could get because we don't know anything about this trinomial we see here. 13.69 and negative 7.4 don't really have much meaning to us. But we do know that if we take half of 7.4, it'll be 3.7, and 3.7 squared is 13.69. So I can do x minus 3.7 squared equals 8.3, and x minus 3.7 plus or minus, that's not 3.7, the square root of 8.3. So x is 3.7 plus or minus the square root of 8.3. X is 0.819 and 6.581. I've got a couple more examples. If you get the hang of it, you're welcome to stop here and be done. But there are a few more examples if you want to stick around for those. Here's one. We have x plus 5.5 squared is 4.3. X plus 5.5 equals plus or minus the square root of 4.3. So x equals negative 5.5 plus or minus the square root of 4.3. X is negative 7.574, negative 3.426. You can hear these last four practice problems again. I'll write the answers down, and then I can show you the work. Why don't you pause the video and try these if you still need some more practice. But the answers for these are x equals negative 8.4, x equals negative 10.690, and negative 1.310. X is negative 3.449, and negative 0.351. And x is 0.418 and 6.582. Again, the work to follow here. X plus 2 squared is 36. So x plus 2 is plus or minus 6. X is negative 2 plus or minus 6. X is negative 8 and 4. X plus 6 squared is 22. X is negative 6 plus or minus the square root of 22. Just skip the step there. We have x plus 6 equals plus or minus the square root of 22. X equals negative 10.690, negative 1.310. X plus 1.9 squared equals 2.4. X plus 1.9 plus or minus the square root of 2.4. plus or minus the square root of 2.4. X is negative 3.449, negative 0.351. And lastly, x minus 3.5 squared is 9.5. X minus 3.5 equals plus or minus the square root of 9.5. X equals 3 plus or minus the square root of 9.5, or sorry, 3.5 rather. And x is 0.418 and 6.582. So hopefully you get the hang of this. Shouldn't be too difficult as compared to yesterday.